like, you know what, I'm just banking on this notion that semaglutide is always going to be available. We're banking on the notion that semaglutide will always be available, and that is not a guarantee. It's Jasmine Nicole. Welcome and welcome back to Weight with Jazz. So, what's the plan when not only tirzepatide is solidified from the shortage list, no longer on the shortage list, but when semaglutide is no longer on the shortage list? What's the plan? See, what the notion is going around is it's kind of like an indefinite thing that semaglutide is going to remain in shortage. I know it's been in shortage for a long time, but that doesn't mean it's indefinite. So with the current situation of tirzepatide possibly coming out of shortage and is right now currently on stall due to judicial motions, is at a halt right now until the outcome of the case determining whether tirzepatide is rightfully out of shortage based on providing evidence of Lilly backing up the shortage relievement. So right now, tirzepatide compound is still available, and it will remain available until the outcome, the determination of this case. Even so, if it does end up being officially removed from the shortage list in confirmation, people are automatically thinking about exit plans. What medication are they going to transition to? And often that medication is semaglutide, right? That's pretty much the only GLP-1 left that's lingering in the compound market. You know, uh, liraglutide or liraglutide, however you pronounce it, they're in interchangeable pronunciations. I have not seen available in the compound market, and that's AKA Saxenda and Victoza. So the only thing left is semaglutide. So people automatically like, I'm just going to switch to semaglutide. Great. I was thinking of that as a last resort, although I don't favor semaglutide due to the data of side effects. That's just really not comparable to the data of tirzepatide side effects. It's just non-comparable. They are completely two different ingredients. Although they are GLP-1, they're two different ingredients, and semaglutide does cause, seems like, more intensified side effects. For some, may not for all, of course not. There, it doesn't affect everybody exactly the same, but there's enough numbers out there that have reported some really harsh side effects with semaglutide. So based on that data, I am kind of reserved from using semaglutide unless it's like a last resort. So in lieu of the possibility of both GLP-1 medications eventually coming out of shortage, there has to be a plan in place on how to continue your weight maintenance, weight management, or weight loss. So what's my plan? Please feel free to tap your plan in the comment box. I'm really eager to know what you guys are thinking about transitioning, if that's the thought, from tirzepatide to semaglutide, or entertaining some other weight loss medications that are not GLP-1 related, or choosing to go without it. Whatever the plan is, let me know. Insight is great, because I know a lot of other people are in the same brainstorming situation. I know for me, though, I've made the definitive decision that when tirzepatide is no longer available through the compound market, I'm going to transition back to Zepbound. I initially started on Zepbound pens. Now that I am more favorable to the vials, I'm going to get the Zepbound starter vials. I intend on getting the 5 milligram and splitting the 5 milligram to 2.5, and I inject that weekly. And if I feel the need, inject it bi-weekly, being as though I'm in maintenance. In addition, with my Lipo B medication that I inject once a week. So I'm working under, the dual medication of GLP-1 and Lipotropic McB, which is a fat burner, a metabolizing fat burner through amino acid compounds and complex B12 vitamin. So I have some updates coming up for that. I have a Tirzepatide maintenance update coming up. Stay tuned, as well as a Lipo B update. And these are going to be 2-week updates. I let 2 weeks go by with the medication. So I definitely have some results to give us some data, in my opinion, that just further confirms that GLP-1 medication has to be imminent in my life. Regardless, it's going to be imminent in my life for weight management. But yeah, back to the plan. My plan, going to the Zepbound vial, and that could be a viable option for you. That really could be a viable option for you, because it is cheaper than the pens, although they're only available in a the smaller starter doses, 2.5 and 5 milligram. It's still $100 shorter if you're self-paying than the pens, because the pens will cost you $650 using the Eli Lilly savings card, because that savings card went up $100, remember, with the release of the Zepbound vials. See, there had to be a cut somewhere. Lilly had to make an adjustment of an increase somewhere to make room for profitability with the Zepbound vials. Now, the Zepbound vials, like I said, are only in the starter, 2.5 and 5 milligram. I don't believe they will ever, can't say ever, but I don't believe that it will get to the higher doses, because that price would be a little astronomical. And then also, I heard information that Lilly is avoiding providing the Zepbound vials in the higher therapeutic doses of 7.5 and up, all the way up to 15, because he wants to avoid patients buying the high vials and just self-dosing themselves beyond, you know, beyond the weekly injections, pretty much micro dosing or low dosing themselves out of the higher therapeutic vials. So that's a reason why we haven't seen higher vials. And then also the price point is going to be higher. It's going to be much higher, in the eights. Um, yeah, it'd be high for a high dose, and that would kind of just really be a little ridiculous and pointless. You might as well just go with the pens for that if you're self-paying. And if you have insurance, you don't have to even worry about that if your insurance is covering the pens. So it's a lot of maneuvering, thinking, and self-planning when it comes to a potential exit strategy from using terzepatide compound. And it just came to mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm just banking on this notion that semaglutide is always going to be available. We're banking on the notion that semaglutide will always be available. And that is not a guarantee, because just as Lilly is working wonders through manufacturing chains and channels and coming out with other additions to the product line, like the Zepbound vial, to help relieve the shortage, to remove Tirzepatide from the shortage, which was what he did. Novo Nordisk probably is taking notes or following a similar plan or similar model when it comes to semaglutide. Now, I mean, It's been in shortage for a long time, y'all. But we can't just go off the notion that it's going to be forever in storage, because it's not. Because these people have investors that they have to pay. Okay, investors that have invested thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands and more into Lilly, into Ozempic, through Novo Nordisk. They have invested money to bring the product to where it is. Those shareholders, you have to be accountable to the shareholders, and you have to show dividends, or else the shareholders need their money back. You understand what I'm saying? So it's tight at the board table. It's definitely tight at the board table, and I'm telling you, these attorneys, everybody are trying. Well, not everybody, as far as the team, the Novo Nordisk team, the Lilly team, are at the table, at the board table with their attorneys, trying to figure out how to get their GLP-1 medication out of shortage indefinitely. Okay, so they can start making the money they need to make residuously, in addition to what they are automatically making with the insurance approvals. Because there's a vast disparity with the insurance approvals, which is why people are forced to pay out of pocket using the Eli Lilly savings card or the Novo Nordisk savings card, or choosing the generic, cheaper alternative through the compound market. That that's where people are at. That's where people are at right now. So it's either go back to the big brand, the big box of pens or vials, or transition from tirzepatide to semaglutide if semaglutide remains in shortage. As long as that remains in shortage. Other than that, I don't really see any really viable options if you're trying to keep GLP-1 in the equation. If you're trying to keep that in your equation, and I'm definitely trying to keep it in my equation, the only options are going to the big brand, okay? Going back to the brand and using the savings cards, or using Zepbound vials. But those are at starter doses. So, it depends on if you are a super responder. Maybe a starter dose is enough for you. We have many super responders out there who can get results from 2.5 and 5 milligram and can maintain off of that. If you can do that, that's a great option. I know I can make myself maintain all of it, and I'm in maintenance, so I'm going to maintain off of it. So once I have exhausted, my Tirzepatide refills through my compound pharmacy, I'm going to put an order in through Lilly Direct for a 5 milligram Zepbound vial, and that's what it is. You just got to make the right decisions for yourself. And I know I have to have an effective plan. I have to have an effective plan to continue to maintain my skinny. Okay. I call it what you want, slim, skinny, whatever. Maintain my slim, okay, out of here in these streets. I already put the work in. I have a viable exercise regimen and routine. But at the end of the day, that still does not deviate food noise, aka snacking noise, when you're not hungry. Okay? That doesn't do that. GLP-1 medication puts a dent in the food noise, and that is crucial for so many of us. It's crucial for me. Okay? It's crucial for me, and we'll get into that details on those details on my my upcoming Tirzepatide maintenance update. Okay, because it's real out here in these streets, and GLP-1 is the best appetite freaking suppressant on the market. Okay, appetite suppressant, gastric system delaying agent. It's the only medication on the market that I have seen to be able to produce these type of results, weight loss results, by way of delaying your digestive system, making you feel full longer, and just increasing that appetite suppression to a level that no other medication has reached in history, and canceling out food noise. I think that's the concept and theory that people really don't understand. They're like, okay, food noise, you need food cues to know you're hungry. Food cues or a hunger cue and food slash snack noise are two different ideas to me. They're two different. I know how to distinctively identify a hunger cue. It's different. I get cramping in my stomach, kind of like my stomach speaks to me. Okay, growling in a sense. I know a hunger cue. A food noise. That comes when you're not hungry, honey. You're not hungry, and you're in a state of, not fasting. You're in a state. You may be in a state of snacking, right? You may be in a state of snacking. That's food noise, and you may not be able to stop once you dip into it. Okay, so food noise could come when you're in a state of snacking, and you won't be able to stop, and you could find yourself overdoing it, unlimited. You know, you may not be able to put a stop or a cap on it, honey. And I've had that experience. And you may end up going overboard, going into the land of binging. Binging doesn't have to be massive. Binging can be small. It could just be, an opportunity in time in which your appetite is triggered by something sweet or whatever, and you can't stop. You can't stop eating it, and you end up eating too much of it. Okay, listen, I'm just giving you experience. I know that this medication will cut all of it off. Or not all of it off. This medication will put a dent in a lot of it. I miss that feeling. I haven't had that feeling in a little while because I skipped my doses of Tirzepatide. See, we ain't getting in this update right now. Y'all gonna have to come and tune in. We're gonna get in this update soon. So please stay tuned and look for the Tirzepatide update and the Lipo B update. Because I definitely have some things to talk about when it comes to triggering, binging, and so forth, setbacks, how to maneuver in life, still enjoy your cravings without going beyond your cravings at a binge level. This is why GLP-1 medication is so essential. This is why I'm doing everything I can to make sure I solidify an exit plan that works for me. I've entertained options. I've entertained Ali, that diverts 30% of your fat. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You can eat and then it diverts 30% of your fat. But that medication has some harsh effects on the liver and kidneys. It's just not viewed to be safe long term. A lot of these medications aren't as viewed to be safe long term. The only ones that seem to be more valuable for long term use are GLP-1 medication, regardless of the minimal severe side effects that the data does provide. There are very few, far almost none, but there are very few of those, severe side effects. But the common side effects we get, like the nausea, fatigue, you know, that's just pretty much it. That's the regular stuff. Other than that, there's no other medication on the market that's as close to being as safe as GLP-1, because GLP-1 is a hormone replica of your natural GLP-1 in your body. So that's why I feel more comfortable with it too. And I really don't want to deviate off of it. And I want to be on it long term because I just feel better with the concept and the facts, the data, that this is just mimicking what's already in my body. My natural GLP-1 hormone is just short-lived. So this extends the life of it. But now with everything coming into play about the ending of Tirzepatide compound, there's a cause for caution and alarm. For those who are currently in their weight loss journey, for those who are at the end of it or in maintenance and continuing this thing as a lifestyle, okay? Like me. And I'm going to, but that's my plan, y'all. Just been itching to get that out. It was on my mind. I want to know, what is your plan? Do you believe that semaglutide is going to be in shortage indefinitely? It will always be available in the compound market? And is that your plan to transition to? Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you in the next video. Be real.